I, 33F, am getting married soon. On January 1st of this year, I announced to my mother and sister, 37F, the date of my wedding November 11th. I wanted a fall wedding, the leaves to be changing and to be cool outside. We chose November. With the holidays and whatnot, there were only 2 Saturdays in November that made sense. Fiancé chose the 11th because it's indicative of our dating anniversary. So it was decided, November 11th, that I announced the date to my family. My sis became upset. Her favorite band sings a song that's called 1111, so she has it tattooed on her. She was engaged to some guy like 15 years ago. They didn't get married, but they were supposed to get married on November 11th. I had completely forgotten. It's a week before her wedding anniversary. She was upset because 1111 is her thing, and it felt like a slap in the face that I would get married a week before she did, years ago. My sis and I have a tumultuous relationship. The last fight we got into was at my birthday 2 years ago. We had discussed having a family dinner. I ended up inviting some friends. Fiancé wanted it to be special, and about 10 to 12 people ended up being there. Sister was pissed because, if she had known there were going to be other people there, she wouldn't have come because she didn't feel well. I told her she was never obligated to come, and I didn't think I needed to make her aware of the guest list. Anyway, we ended up not talking for a while, but because my sister is stubborn, she has never apologized, doesn't take blame, I eventually just let it go, to appease my mother. So, when I found out she was pissed about the date I chose for my wedding, I wasn't having it. I worked really hard the last several years to establish boundaries with family and friends, and to not be steamrolled. I was hurt my sister made my wedding about her. She told me that I took her thing, and as a result she wasn't going to be in the country for my wedding. She booked a trip. It's now been 10 months. Her and I have had limited interaction. My mom says to start the conversation with my sister and to let things go because we all know how your sister can be. Mom said I should have asked my sis first if it was okay to choose that day, and I could have approached the subject delicately. This was mind-blowing to me, because my mother and I have to walk on eggshells with my sister. Over the year they've discussed how I could have done things differently, or why it couldn't have been this day or that day. My wedding is 2 weeks away, and my sis and I haven't talked. I didn't send her an invite BC. She has not apologized and already said she wouldn't be going. I see no reason to have to initiate the convo like always, strengthening the pattern of letting her get her way. It has been heartbreaking to not have my sis there for my activities, and it hurts to know that her pride got in the way of spending time with me. But for once in my life I want to stand strong and say I deserve better. Edit told Mom about this post and responses. She's unfazed. Update: the day before my wedding, Friday the 10th, my mother came over to my house to help me put some last-minute things together. She texted my sister when she arrived saying, "Just got your sister's, TTYL." My sister responded with "have fun lol" and followed it up with another text saying "dumb wedding." Coincidentally, my mother was showing me something on her phone when my sister texted that. Sister tried to immediately delete, which is something I guess iPhones can do to each other. I give my mom back her phone, and at this point I'm so angry I can't sit. I'm pacing around the house. Since the dumb wedding message had disappeared, my mother almost didn't believe it happened. She texted my sister and asked if she said that. Sister admitted it. Mother asked why she would say something like that, and that I saw it. My sister's response was "Welp." Then wanted to know how I saw it. My anger has turned into sadness, and I started crying. I told my mother that it was bulls ***T to be treated this way by my sister who is close to 40. My mother told my sister I was very upset and said to stop acting silly. The entire day I spent in a funk. Years of trauma and abuse make me susceptible to other people's emotions and thoughts, and I have a hard time snapping out of it, not just family but a horribly ******* up first marriage. I'm also trying to rack my brain and figure out genuinely why I deserve this. At one point, we were at the venue with my mother-in-law who asked me what was wrong. My mother interrupted and said I was tired and winked at me. Later, I told my MIL the truth. I'm not ashamed or embarrassed, and I'm not going to lie to protect my sister. When my mother and sister spoke later that night, my sister tried to change her story. She said that I took it wrong and she meant expensive weddings are dumb. But she has no idea how much money I've spent on the wedding or any of the details. And come on, if that's what she meant, she would have clarified immediately. My mother seemed to sort of believe her bull's ****T excuse. Wedding day came, never heard from my sister. The wedding was gorgeous, and I'm honestly relieved she wasn't there. Extended family came into town, and my sister scheduled dinner with them the day before the wedding to make sure she could see them, which annoyed me. It's been over a week, and I still haven't heard from her. It further cements my decision to cut things off and not relent, because she knew I was upset and crying about what she said, and she still couldn't reach out to me to set things straight. Sadly, my mother did tell her about some of the details of the wedding. She claims she didn't send any pictures. I was upset because I clearly told Mom not to give any info about it. But it is what it is.
This was a difficult situation OP was in. It's hard to manage family dynamics with personal wants and needs. What did you think about OP's position? Was she right? Do you agree with Mom and Sis? Let us know in the comments below.